The smallest details have the utmost importance. Day to day, year to year, every action we take mounts to the greatest changes we'll have. Identity and self-worth don't come through destination, but the moments that make up the journey. A great player can't be great if they don't show up repeatedly. Just ask Shinsuke Kita. Kita, Inarizaki's team captain, enters from the bench. Literally the bench, as he isn't a starter for his team, despite having the honor of captainship. One of the joys of watching and reading Haikyuu comes from the flow of new characters. Every match brings new faces with their own philosophies on sport. The limited time makes each new philosophy impactful, for the end of the match spells the last time we'll get to be with the characters. Kita comes in halfway through the manga after Karasuno overcome the hurdle of Shiratorizawa and achieve their goal of qualifying for nationals. He doesn't have the build-up to his character like the Miya twins or Eren Ojiro, yet he steals the show. Kita is a quiet and self-isolated type of person. He doesn't shy away from sharing his opinions, but also doesn't boast them. Strategically, Kita is used to steady the ship when his talented underclassmen lose focus. A force of stability in a sea of unpredictability. When we look at the totality of Haikyuu's story, Kita's role is small. He only plays a handful of sets during his match with Karasuno, comments in some of the other games, then has a brief appearance post-time skip. Even so, I would argue maybe no character reveals the themes of Haikyuu as clearly as Kita, and I don't think I'm alone in this, as Kita is beloved by the fanbase. Here, I want to explore why we adore Kita and search for Furudate's reasoning behind choosing a bench player to become the purest example of Haikyuu's messaging. The core messaging from Kita's character is simple. It is enjoyable to do small tasks, and the more you focus on routine, the more clearly you will develop your own identity. We see this play out through many of the characters in Haikyuu, none more obvious than Hinata. Hinata wants to be a flashy player, but doesn't have any strong fundamentals for the game. In the match against Inarizaki, he shows how far his development has come as he performs a perfect receive. Kita doesn't have the same ceiling as a player like Hinata, but he already understands how routine and taking care of yourself leads to the greatest growth of character and personality. No matter your potential, you will not meet it if you refuse to do the small things. Normally, the small things refers to an athlete doing the dirty work, like jumping on the ground for a loose ball, essentially giving full effort in every moment. But that looks too much at the end product, and not the efforts needed to make it there. Kita is an argument for everything else. The way you train each day, taking care of the things you eat, or keeping your spaces clean. All of the maintenance, if it were, that is required to reach your full potential. How you act all of the time, not just in front of others, not just in the biggest moments, makes up your identity. Kita learned this worldview from his grandmother. The idea that the gods are always watching gives clarity to one's actions. I don't think you need to have the same religious beliefs as Kita to agree with this line of thinking. Kita adheres to this idea because it feels good. Taking your time and completing a task, no matter how insignificant it may seem, provides value. We see the results in Kita, a student atop of his class, a very good volleyball player, and now team captain. In a lot of ways, we're all on a search for clarity. Kita's defined worldview makes his actions clear in every moment. When Atsumu has a cold but would rather stay and practice, Kita forces him home. Atsumu's vision is limited to being on the court, while Kita's focus on how to take care of yourself allows him to handle the situation easily. With the Miya twins, Eren Ojiro, and Suna, Inarizaki stand as arguably the most talented team in the country, alongside Itachiyama. A team as dominant as this one gets sloppy at times, which is where Kita comes in. We often think talent makes up for a lot, and in some ways it does, but talent can't succeed as a unit without a vision of how they should play or act. A lack of vision forces you to continue continuously reinvent yourself as you fail to have a way of navigating new situations. For a time, that's a fun thing for the Mia twins. They love the challenge of the new, but to make it even higher, they will have to find vision of how they want to play. A bench player is an unusual choice for captainship, but spending a little time with Inarizaki, it becomes clear how perfect Kita is for the role and how he reflects a lot of the qualities we see in other team captains. Oikawa believes that talent can be grown through practice over time. Daiichi offers stability for his team, and Ushijima does all of the small things despite his raw strength. Kita one-for-one aligns with Haikyuu's messaging about how to develop yourself, and he uses a character who will go on to work a mundane job as the greatest show of how we should look inward to the process of life to find fulfillment. Most of us, I think, want to or have wanted to be stars. Naturally, we gravitate towards dreams of playing like the ace. We seek out the flash of star players, but seeing the results doesn't give insight into the realities of how one achieves the end product. Of course, Haikyuu is universal because we aren't really talking about volleyball here, but any industry at any level. A character like Kita represents the power of sports anime. In real life, a bench player would fail to leave an impression on the spectators, for we can only interpret the strongest play on the court. I think that's why so much sports analysis comes down to putting the weight of the world on the star player, because that's all we can see. In a story like this, we get the opportunity to look inward into a player who's immediately relatable. Far from a star, Kita has done everything in his power just to make the bench. Kita is universally easy to identify with because his diligence is something everyone aspires to have. Of course, all of us want the end results, but seeing a person understand their limits, be okay with those limits, and still do every little task to the fullest makes you care deeply about them. Kita shows us the discipline of those who aren't stars, and it allows us to see angles to sport and life that you couldn't get from watching live sports. Kita says it feels good when he accomplishes these tasks. He shows how we should lift our mindset from goal or outcome and focus more on the moment. This plays out into why Kita never feels nervous. Kita doesn't get nerves on the court because he knows the limits of his capabilities and has put in the practice to be here. He trusts his coaches and teammates fully and knows they won't put him on the court if he couldn't perform the same way he does in practice. Kita is a bit extreme here because nerves aren't something that can always be quelled by diligence. Not everyone can have that same pragmatic outlook, but it highlights how we can always try to be present and in the moment. In sports, you always hear about the next game, keeping focus only on the next task and not the bigger picture. While Akashi will have more to say on that topic, Kita's lack of nerves plays into a lack of anxiety by embracing the moment. Anxiety can stem from a removal from the present as our mind fixates on the past or potential future. Kita limits that by always remembering the smallest details. He prepared the right way, and that is all that matters. Preparation and expectation are key. If you take the proper steps to prepare and go into a tournament or match with the expectations of only doing what you practiced, then you should never have trouble staying in the moment. It is when you step outside of those expectations that your mind will go far beyond. The moment is what we should all care about, but not just in the context of achieving something great, but in the build-up to it. For Kita, it comes down to always asking yourself a question. What is the most essential thing to do right now? Maybe that's cleaning up your workspace, or going home eating and getting plenty of rest. But the only way you can truly know what's essential is by deepening your worldview and understanding yourself. And in return, that makes knowing what to do even easier. I think a lot of Kita's outlook is aligned with what I'm trying to do with this channel. My goal with these videos, besides hopefully being entertaining, is to try and help define my worldview and the worldview of my viewers by discussing my favorite stories. The way to build that up is to stay in the moment, to think about things deeply, and to complete tasks well. Kita tackles everything he does with respect, and it's the same way we should to be thinking about all of the art and ideas we come across, which will then create a bank of ideas that can help us build how we understand the world. That is the realization we see through Hinata and is verbally expressed through Kita. But the question that sits with me now, and has for a long time, why did Furudate choose Kita for this role, and why wait so long to introduce a character with a philosophy as essential as this one? I think it was important for Furudate to wait and have a character explicitly convey this specific message until they were at Nationals, as it allows us to see the connections with Kita's philosophy play out in Hinata. Over the course of the series, Hinata has gone from total novice with big aspirations to an intelligent and diligent player whose energy is focused into improving all aspects of his game. Now, this transformation doesn't come overnight, but we see the results in this match when he's able to make the receive and when he slows down play, two moments that the old Hinata never would have been able to reach. Hinata's progress has been felt in that moment, and Kita's perspective on sport and life crystallizes what we've experienced through Hinata, but it also sets the stage for the remaining two matches. Karasuno overcoming Shiratorizawa still seems like somewhat of a Cinderella story, but their victory over Inarizaki cements their place as one of the best teams in the country and proof of concept for Hinata's ball boy journey. The Inarizaki match is the reflection of Hinata and Kageyama through the Miya twins. Karasuno overcome the twins freak quick because of their past experience over-relying on the tool of speed, and in the final moment we see that result through the eyes of Kita, as if the process our protagonists have gone on can be understood through the philosophy of Inarizaki's captain. I think it's important to note the motto of Inarizaki: we don't need the memories. The results of this match suggest that outlook is a bad thing, for the memories of failure allow Hinata and Kageyama to win this match. The memories of your practice allows Kita not to feel pressure on the court. But not thinking about the memories doesn't just have to be the past, but the future as well. Inarizaki doesn't care what they achieved before, or what winning this game might create for their future selves to look back on. They care only for the moment, the now. In a lot of ways, that aligns perfectly with Kita's diligence, a person who never lets the moment get too big. Once Inarizaki loses and Kita steps away from the story again, we can't help but think back to him when Hinata falls with a fever. Hinata has taken strides to take care of himself, but the excitement of the future sullied his present. His need to make new memories took his mind away from his immediate needs. You don't need to be the best to fully give yourself to something. The developments of our main cast on Karasuno are deepened when you compare them to Kita, a bench player who does everything right. Kita shows us how far the likes of Suki and Hinata have come, and show how much further they still have to go. What makes Kita truly generational is how he's used post-time skip. Everything in life is connected, from how you do household chores, the way you interact with friends and family, to your greater work. The people we tend to envy, let's say star volleyball players, are deeply connected to the jobs that we overlook. Atsumu has the crowd's attention when he scores a wicked serve or places a perfect set, but behind the muscles of star players are those who prepared his food, and beyond that, the ones who curate it. Furudate's genius with Kita is how he makes us identify with a farmer in a volleyball story, showing that you don't need to be the greatest to find resolve and fulfillment in sport or life. For everything we do, all the choices we make cultivate into our identities, a collection of small moments and decisions working together to make a greater whole, the same process that curates the greatest of volleyball players. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like my videos and you want to support me further, then consider checking out my Patreon or YouTube membership. There you get access to this channel's Discord server where you can chat with me about anime and general media, and you also get the chance to participate in my monthly anime watch-alongs where members help pick an anime and we watch it and discuss it week to week together. You also get your name at the end of every video and access to exclusive Patreon posts like channel updates and thoughts about the future future of the channel. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.